Mama Bear.
What? Mama Bear, how are you doing?
You in the booth.
I'm in the booth.
You in the booth.
This is going to be a classy time.
It is?
We have Baby Bear here.
First question. What's the name of the podcast?
F Gravity. It's called F Gravity. We're not cussing on today's podcast.
You've joined the list of people who don't know the name of the podcast.
No. I thought we was calling it
the
name of I thought you said that was the name of the
general show has a name.
I'll say I'm sorry.
So what is it?
Don't forget.
Yes, we have another. List all the people who failed.
Why are you? What's the name?
Welcome to another episode of the podcast that has no name because Jen forgot it. No, we're playing. We're in the identity booth. And we have a celebrity in the house. Now, you guys might know her as the electrifying geneticist of the millennia.
Oh.
Or you might know her as the 2 HBCU going, lovely, educated woman.
All right, I do love HBCU.
Yeah, you do. But she's my friend, so she's your friend.
Okay.
So we gonna give it up for our Mama Bear.
Mama
Jen,
Bear!
We in the house. And in the house of the booth, like this has really been a production. She made the sign. She got her bear. She got everything. Look how gorgeous she looks for y'all. Like she got the red on. Y'all know something's up. But we are in the booth today, and it's because I'm leaving soon. Like, if you're watching this, I'm already gone. So, like, when this comes, this is going to be coming out like a while from now.
Great.
So, you got time to brace people in case something tragic happens.
Thank you.
But how you doing, Jen? What's going on?
I'm great. Glad to be here.
Jen.
Got Baby Bear here.
Man.
Bear family all together.
All together. This is a good time coming because, like, I think about, like, people don't want to watch my podcast, but they definitely want to come on it. So I'm happy to, like, get, like, Jen's famous. Y'all don't know. She's famous. She has so many friends. So, like, if this is my launching off point, I have Jen to thank for that. But like most things in life, I have Jen to thank for a lot of things. Like, let's be real. Jen has gotten me through college. When I went to go play in the NFL, she got me through college. She was able to get me over that stage. And that's not fair. Kishara was the one I bugged the most.
Kishara held it down.
Kishara held it down. She was the one I bothered the most. But Jen was definitely like number 2. Like, yo, Jen, I don't know the answer to 6. And I'm one question away from failing. So what's the answer? And Jen would come through for me.
We did clown in chemistry.
Biochem?
Biochem.
Ooh.
Me, you, Kishara. Stevie O.D., Whitney.
Oh, man, the Chem crew. We
Class.
Was in there. All right, so we got to go over some basic rules. Like, let's go over some basic rules of the podcast. Okay. Rule number 1, you don't name names unless they've been on the podcast.
Oh, unless they've been on the podcast.
Or they're never going to watch the podcast.
The rest of this is like, I'm good then. We will never name names again. We're going to call people A, B, C, D. Great. Because I was like, I'm not answering some of your questions because I felt like names had to be.
No, for sure. Second thing is we don't name locations. And then third and final thing.
Like locate the people don't know where you are now, or like where things took place.
Oh,
so we gotta be real discreet on the show.
Yeah, because we mess around. Me and you low key know some semi-professional motherfuckers.
We
are some semi-professional motherfuckers, so we gotta be careful.
Okay, great.
And Jen has informed me that she doesn't want to be caught cursing, thus the blurb on the board. But
it's probably a lie.
I'm going to bleep her stuff. I'm gonna try. Y'all know I don't edit this down like I do my other videos, but I'm gonna make sure she is seen in her most pristine form. She deserves it. She knows it.
And I'm probably gonna cuss, so here we are.
What's in the cup?
Coffee.
We're not sponsored. We're not sponsored.
Coffee.
And then the final one is we don't talk about what we eat.
Huh?
It's a rule my mom made, so
I can't tell you about a creative dish, or I can't say that I'm vegan. On Tuesdays? Like, what is the...
Like, I guess, like, for her, it's like, she had just finished eating something, and I told everybody what she ate, and she was like, why'd you tell people what I ate?
Because that's ghetto.
It is?
Yeah, like, you putting people in her stomach.
Okay.
In her colon. People don't want to know that.
Okay, that's the rule. But if you feel free to break the rule, Mama Bear ain't going.
I'm not gonna make
Mama Bear, you allowed to do whatever you want on the podcast. Almost anything. We can't let her get too crazy. But we're gonna be doing a little bit of Q&A. You know, you're doing some phenomenal things with some very young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed individuals who like. It's so important that they get to see people like us doing it, the people with the locks, the natural hair, that dress like them, talk like them, and do the walk. Because like a lot of people don't believe the hype until it's in their face, and by then it's already too late. So I can only speak about how many people I wish I knew like me that would have told me something like when I was getting ready to play football, like, hey, you're only able to play for 3 years, but you need to work on this. Or instead of you wasting time doing this, making good money or whatever, hey, get this done so that you can be on your way. But you've already acclimated yourself and started doing that. So just with a brief rundown, just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it.
You make me sound like so cool.
You are so cool. Like, I'm here to gas you up.
Come on, gas. So hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Caldwell. I don't know, I'm a lot of things to a lot of different people, but you know, I guess you want to know about the genetics work and the things.
I want to know anything you want to tell us.
Okay, so I'm a Howard graduate student, and I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. That's the location, I can't say that.
You already fucking up rules.
Damn,
go
I'm
ahead.
fucking up rules.
But that's where the school is. So
I said fuck. Damn!
Oh, we 3 for 3, baby, yeah.
Anyway, I do genetics. I teach students. I'm interested in chronic diseases and African American culture and history and the African diaspora in general. Culture, health, ancestry. Those are my things. Very Black all the time.
Don't worry about me talking.
I don't know. I mean, you know, this is a Q&A, so you're supposed to be asking me questions.
Okay, are you done with your
miniature they know now.
You like to dance? You like genetics? You like looking at research? You generally like
black people.
That's good to
know. Of all kinds.
And on top of all that and the things that you've like come across so far, what has been like the most challenging part up until this point? Because like you're here, living in DC ain't an easy gig. So how is this venture that you decided, this trajectory you decided to take, how has this made you tougher? How has this wavered in your eyes? Like,
yeah, so DC is very different than where I grew up. Grew up in a very small place, but it launched me to be able to deal with DC. I will say, you know, where I grew up was very rough in a lot of ways. And they were serious about education. They were serious about STEM education and creating your own path, you know, whether it be research or science or industry or professional like medicine or dentistry. They were really serious about instilling that in us. And
brag real quick. How many degrees you got now? How many degrees you got?
I think this is going to be my 4th one.
So for all the people keeping record, because a lot of people look at me like, damn, Hero's the shit. I only have 2. Jen got 4.
You are the shit though.
No. I talk a lot of shit. Jen got 4. Like, you still single, right?
I am still single.
You hear that, fellas? Jump on it. Let's do it.
Just send the DMs to me that come to you.
No, it will. It will. There's some guys. Hey, you should have came to Mom's birthday party. There was some other bastards out there. Chicago, man.
I'm trying to come.
You should come through, man. You know I got the crib out there. You don't even got to say that. Mama let you in there. Yes,
ready.
So you have accomplished all of these things. Like you got 4 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Now you brought up STEM, and I know I was in STEM with you for a while. And then I had to take a trajectory. How important is it for STEM to be something that people like me and you, people that look like us, are doing? Like, what is the consequences of people not being involved in STEM?
That's actually very interesting because yesterday we were giving a talk about interdisciplinary research and interdisciplinary teaching methods in STEM. And a little bit of the literature, I don't want to bore you all with that type of talk, but a little bit of the literature suggests that Black people don't want to do STEM. Or if there are, 16% of Asians in being engineers, mm-hmm. but there's only 6% Asians in the country.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to, African Americans and blacks in general, it's like, we're 13% of the total population, and then less than 6% in STEM.
Okay.
So I think that it's like more than one way to skin a cat here. So it's definitely our secondary education and primary education, and maybe the imposter syndrome, or not having adequate resources, or the facilitators of STEM not always looking like you. And then when you get in the classroom, when you get to the collegiate level, it's the other things that matter. Like you have to work and be in school, and that's sometimes hard in STEM. Or I have to play football or be in the band, and that's sometimes difficult in STEM as well. So it's not the ability to understand the material. I mean, we did invent the material. So it's not that we cannot understand the material. It's the ramifications and the constraints that we have to deal with here today that kind of facilitate a downward spiral.
And man, you hit that nail hard.
I'm serious about it.
It's pretty interesting because you always I said this a while back, like you only see black kids being celebrated in the collegiate level for one or two things: graduating or sports.
Yep.
It's never that they came out with this major research paper, or one of my favorite things that I always see that always irritates me. They'll put up the picture of a kid who got into 1,700 colleges at age of 17, no name, no location, no trials and tribulations. It's just the fame and fortune. We are a group of people who are easily seen, so I think we're invited to fame before we try and get to wealth. Like we gravitate to fame before we gravitate to wealth. And wealth can be acquired through knowledge or your surroundings, and your environment dictates that. So I think that's really important to have people, once again, that look like us, that are trying to reach out and grab people. You're doing a way better job of it than me. You thought the camera didn't see?
I did. I thought it was like out of frame.
No, everything you see, I see. Yeah, we putting it all together. So now let's dive a little bit into your social life. What don't you want to talk about?
We can talk about it.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's a good save right there. I'm about to dive in. You are coming from what I call Pine Bluff. Okay, so let's talk about Pine Bluff just for a split second, because I think it's the eighth marvel of the world because of the weird things that happen there. Now, hear me out. This is a place that has some extremely famous people from there. Extremely gifted and talented people have come from this small little town, and it's weird. It's a really weird place, but that is a place that I could be on corner of 7th and 9th and King Drive in Chicago, and I feel way safer in Pine Bluff than I'd ever feel in Chicago. And it's by default, because I've met so many people that shaped my identity. Like the person I am today is attributed to a lot of the people that I met in Pine Bluff. So like you have come out of there and you've sort of like taken the biggest leaps necessary. Like you're in the mecca of anything going on in this country right now. So that transition, how has that been working for you? Because like you're an extremely successful person. Black women who are extremely successful, especially given the rate that black women are outperforming black men now by almost 23% in the corporate American world. How has that like impacted your current status, your social life?
My social, it's interesting.
I came with these questions.
So Pine Bluff, I love Pine Bluff. The bluff where it's rough, the high, getting the shark's chicken and fish. I mean,
Oceans, baby. Aisha sauce, baby. Ooh, I got some
Aisha sauce. UAPB homecomings and a turkey leg. I mean, there's so much to love about home for sure. And I think growing up in a small place, you have to know everybody. You're being a little congenial with everyone. You learn how to deal with people because word travels and perception and reputation and things like that matter. So I think like learning those superficial things, but they also matter, right? But learning those things really helped me when I got to DC, because DC is very transient, right? There's a lot of people you got to learn, a lot of cultures you have to learn, and it kind of developed to where I was able to cultivate good relationships with people just because I tried to have good relationships back home. And so I think, but on a social level, I think it's the same.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
mean, minus like all your friends. Like, how do you deal with that? Like,
yeah, it's weird. Like, I have talked to people all the time that say, like, I'm not friends with people I went to elementary school with. And so maybe my elementary school friends, because I went to private school at first, but my high school friends, my public school high school friends, okay. My college friends, They are my besties. Those are the people I grew up with, So,
and full disclosure, like, the definition of friends has to be taken into context when you're talking about adult friends.
Yes.
Adult friends don't kick it with you every week. Adult friends probably don't even call you every week. Mm-hmm. Real talk, me and Jen probably spoke before the other night, probably before homecoming.
It's been like a while.
So a month at least.
Yeah.
But here we literally planned this in less than 24 hours. But that is what an adult friend is.
Adult friend, yeah.
Adult friends come into and I'm not going to be like, oh, Jen didn't think about me when she went out. That's not what I'm here for. Like, I'm here for really just context of like growing points and standing points. Like, these are connections that you make. Like, if she ever has a student who's an athlete and wants to be in science, she's like, I know someone who did that already. Hero, sure. I need you to speak on this. Mm-hmm. If I ever need somebody who's in sorority life, who did band life, who has context about everything, go ahead and say it. Cause we've had a lot. Go ahead and say it.
You said no name dropping. The people gotta find me on social media.
Oh, you gonna plug your social media?
No.
How they gonna find you? You know I'm gonna put you in there. It's right here on her forehead. On her forehead right now. It's gonna be stubborn to go find her.
Don't do it.
But it is so like these are friends. These are legitimately friends you have for
life.
Yeah. And they're there with a purpose. And I always say that to people, like, I date with a purpose. I make money with a purpose. I talk to people with a purpose. It's just, there's no like friendly part about it. Like, you need to be doing something extensively for me in order for you to remain in my circle. And if you're not in my circle, it's not because, oh, I don't have anything to say. Like, Jen's been in my house. She's seen how empty this motherfucker is. I'm moving, so it's really rough right now. But like, if anybody ever had an issue, yeah, you can come crash here. It's not a problem. Yeah, it's like your friends as an adult are almost like fail safes. They're blanketed reassurances for you while you go through life and you're trying to make it. And you got to use them. You got to make sure that they know that they're being valued and appreciated. It's not just, oh, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. It's like, no, it's a mutual understanding. That's just how it has to be. So now that you've made it to this extent, which many people, and I'm going to say this once again, gas.
But it's facts, though.
It is.
It's worth it.
It is. You've made it this far. How much further are you trying to go? Like, what's the end goal here? Like, you got 4 degrees.
I'm a weird person.
You got it.
So, I mean, there's a lot on my mind. So, like, for example, finishing this degree. Mm-hmm. Some days I think about being a doula, which is so far left, right? Other times I'm looking at postdocs, industry, the CBD industry in particular. I'm considering, do I want to go to a PhD program or an MD program that's for PhD students? So it's 3 years. So there's like a lot of things that I think about consistently. But man, I just want to be done at this point.
Done and then do what? And do what though?
Like I want to continue to do research in the diaspora for sure. I think it's important. Genetics is booming. It's a great business, and it also has. We need to be able to tell our own story and our own narrative within genetics and ancestry and culture and history. And so I think that genetics will be a great way to expound upon our rich history and our story and rewrite the narrative like that we are dumb, sickly, and, everybody is everybody is from Africa, but not all Black people in America came from Africa. Most recently, let's say maybe that's the best way to say it.
No, for sure.
And even getting people to understand that might have been a part of the original Americans. Mm-hmm. Your genetics might not look how it looked 400 years ago. Mm-hmm. So you might look more Black because the last couple of people that your ancestors mated with were Black. So like having those conversations, and because African Americans and the diaspora in general doesn't have a lot of written history, and we were told our own history, I love answering those questions and doing the anthropology and stuff. It's so cool.
I think like that's super important because like that aspect of life doesn't really bother me because I'm someone who can go to 55 Palm Avenue in Lagos, Nigeria, backyard. There's my family tree right there, engraved with every person who's ever had my name or bloodline from day one.
So let me tell you what's really funny. I have a friend. I'm not gonna say his name because we can't, because it's on the show. Yeah. But he is Nigerian, right? His grandmother's dad was a white man in South Carolina, but he thought all of his family was from Nigeria.
No, for sure. And there's literally like people who don't know like 3 generations back what happens. But like I've always implored like people to be like, don't spit in a cup and send it to some random office and then believe everything hype. Like Nigeria's model is advanced enough now that they backtrack to villages the origins of certain people's like heritage and background and things of that nature, their genetic background. So go home, take a trip. I get tired of seeing people get a little money in black and go to a poor country in Mexico versus going to a poor country in Africa. You spend the same amount of money.
Where the beaches at though?
Lagos, Nigeria, VGC, the finest beaches in the world.
Okay.
I oceans for days.
Oh, right.
But I'm saying, I also get frustrated with, we got lions, tigers, and bears in Africa too. Quit going to Indonesia. Come spend money on your own broke friends and family members.
On your own broke friends and okay.
I mean, I'm just keeping it real. Like
that's real though.
And it's like, and I have this, and it's just that.
Isn't Mexico cheaper?
It could be cheaper, but if you're gonna do it for anybody, why not do it for your people?
Do it for the people.
For the people. Like, cause okay, let me be real.
Okay.
$1,500 was all I needed to get an Airbnb for 3 months in Nigeria. All my meals paid, all 3 square meals paid, car with a driver for 8 hours. I got 4 outfits, and I was able to tour the whole entire market for $400.
4 outfits?
Yeah.
That's all you needed was 4 outfits?
I mean, I wanted to buy some, so.
Oh.
I mean, I wore whatever I wanted.
That's what I was like,
I brought my own clothes. But like, I'm saying $1,500. If you going on vacation, you don't got $1,500 to spend. I went to Vegas and lost $6,000. So like, what's your point?
Again, I am a student. You could be donating to my scholarship funds if this is what you're doing with your money. Accountability. Real friends.
I'm going back to school, so I'm about to be a loser just like everybody else. It's great. We're going to be buddies. We're going to be broke buddies.
I'm about to be out,
so I can come rely on you. You're going to be getting those adult calls. Jen, got a conference in Washington. I need a place to stay.
But socially, though, DC is different.
How? I call it the fake city.
You think it's a little pretentious?
No, it is pretentious. Everyone thinks they're the shit. Like, the food here is so bland.
No. That's a lie.
No,
that's a lie.
I'm going to speak some truth. I've had better Thai food in Lubbock, Texas. Look it up. It's called Thai pepper. I'll put up the Google rating right now.
That's not true.
I put my left testicle on it.
Have you went to Thai Crossing?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
You didn't like it?
No.
The experience?
No, I'm not there for experience. I'm there for food.
You didn't like the food?
I didn't. It's not that I didn't like it. It just wasn't better.
It wasn't
for
better.
All the hype. Like, and this is what I'm saying. I call it the fake city because it thinks it has to be expensive or flamboyant because it's DC. Like, no, you don't have to be like chilling out. We're talking about $60, like $40 nights. Like, that's some money right there. Parking and all that bullshit aside. Like,
you ain't even spend 40 if you to park.
To park is 40 off top. So for you,
I hate when people try to act like DC is not as expensive as New York. Yes, it is.
Okay, if you're driving in New York, it's because you're an idiot.
Yes.
But you have to drive in DC.
You have to drive
in DC because their metro station, you can't go from DC to Bethesda on one train. You can't. Expensive. Yeah, it's just too much. And I have a car, and efficiency, consistency, and food. These are things that I will pay top dollar for. Yeah. I will pay to get them done right. But when it's time for me to do those things and I'm paying and it's still not done right, that's a headache to me. Like, people are mad at me because I haven't gone to any of the museums or any of the bullshit.
They're free though.
They are free, but getting there isn't. And that in itself is a headache to me. And everybody knows that I will gladly watch some shit on Google Maps before I venture out into this world to deal with a bunch of crazy people. It's just not that important to me. It's just not. Especially like since we got Agent Orange in office, it just takes the taste away from me.
I will say that Baltimore is so black.
I love it.
Baltimore is like PB of the North for me.
8th Street?
For me.
8th Street. When I was on 8th Street, this dude was trying to sell me weed. I said, damn, it feels good to be home. I just felt so safe.
I love Baltimore.
And Laurel has a very deep. Laurel, I didn't know this until I moved here. Laurel has the most wealthiest black people in the country.
PG County.
When I moved here, I was like,
they kicking it.
So I felt good being among my people, and it's just. And I remember when I was talking to the realtor and I was moving out here. And it's like, yeah, for what you're paying, you could definitely get close to work. I was like, yeah, but the one thing I'm afraid of. He's like, no, what are you afraid of? Me coming home at 3:00 in the morning, jingling at a door, and an old white lady singing "Do It."
Stop! I knew this was going in a crazy direction. So, quick question: since we're in Maryland, have you seen the Harriet Tubman movie yet?
No.
Are you going to watch it?
Probably not.
Why? Like the Underground Railroad, and her home is like what?
It's not
her home, but
the passageway and her sanctuary. It's close by.
But Dorchester County is right up the street.
Yeah. No, there's a part of me that's like, I want to see like a hyper real version of it. Like I've read the story, I've been taught it in school, and these movies never really just hit the nail on the head for me. It never tells the.
Is that what it's about though? Is it about because so many people were disappointed, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like,
What did you see it?
I did.
Did you like it?
I did. But so listen, okay. I told people, I said, it depends on the type of black person that you are, if you're going to be upset or not. I was like, the movie for me was so empowering that I could get past certain things because I didn't feel like he was a white savior. I didn't.
And that's what I was about to say.
I didn't feel, the movie overrode that for me.
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
And then you have to put the white savior into context. Dudes told homie, don't kill her. I want her alive, and homie was in his feelings because she shot at him, and that's what happened. So I didn't feel like he was a white savior.
The story, okay, as far as just going out to see it, for me to go see it, I feel like if I was still reviewing movies, I'd be more inclined to do it.
Okay.
But I'm also moving. So if I get to Omaha and it's a Saturday night and I'm chilling, yeah, I'll probably go see it. But those movies without context always vex me because there always seems to be that white savior in the movie at some point, which is annoying to me. And that's why I'd much rather see a hyper real version of it. There's a great movie, Abraham Lincoln, the vampire movie. It's literally Abraham Lincoln and him doing the Emancipation Proclamation, and it's him fighting vampires to do it. We get the story, I get the gist, but when you're giving context like that, everyone's gonna fixate on that. And now that when I go watch the movie, that's gonna be something because she is a strong.
They've already said it.
She's a strong black woman. Let's talk about her.
Right.
It's her name's on it. That's the equivalent of somebody saying, "Let's put on the back of the $20 bill behind a dude that killed thousands of Native Americans." That's a false equivalent. I don't want that. You can keep the 20. So that's my drill on it. I like to see black movies. I'm past seeing our struggles.
Right.
I want to see us taking some shit out. I'd much rather have just seen her be send her out to the Civil War and just let her go run crazy and just run through. I want to see it doesn't have to be real in context, but I want to start seeing us in a sort of
light.
Yeah, the whole pain and struggle
and the slavery.
Yeah. My comic book is built off of that.
Right.
I made it in a way that I wouldn't have to deal with. No, dude walks up to an officer says, "Put your hands where I can see him," and say, "You put your hands where I can see him." It's just something I want.
So Queen and Slim.
That's the movie I'm gonna go see.
I'm gonna go see that.
I'm gonna go see that. 27th, I have my tickets. I'm ready. And it's kind of weird that those two movies came out at the same time because it almost says to a group of people no, we're tired of hearing about this.
Yes.
Show me the one where the dude did everything right and he sold out for the girl.
Yes.
I want to know where she went to blow for him.
Yes.
Met his ass on Tinder.
Yes.
And went to blow for him.
Yes.
I want that.
Yes.
I need
Black
that.
Love Doc. Okay. It was crunk.
I want to see
I'm
that.
I'm excited.
Because that's real to me.
So I listened to the Breakfast Club interview with Zelina White, is that her name?
Yeah.
The writer, the director. And she said that this is not Bonnie and Clyde, this is Malcolm and Martin. And I was like, that's so dope because you know, we always referencing like a Marilyn Monroe and mm-hmm. Dorothy Dandridge. Like, so to hear like you put this couple up as Malcolm and Martin and they finna ride out off of Tinder.
And it's I think the previews did a great job of illustrating that, because you can immediately tell who Malcolm is and you can tell who Martin is. Mm-hmm. You can tell who has the aggression and why he's willing to go to such lengths. But it's also important to speak about how important their dynamic was in culture. It's your ability to look at people and say like, no matter how you choose to get your liberation or your freedom, you're going to need a mixture of both. And I think that's what this is telling us, is you need a mixture of both. You need to be a little bit resilient and a little bit have the capacity to push back. I tell officers all the time to pull me over. I'm not afraid of writing tickets. I can pay that now on my phone. What I'm afraid of is you thinking you about to get away with some shit.
Or you being scared of me. Because if you're really scared of me, then you could do
I tell officers all the time, if you look shaky, I'm not talking to you till you call back up. You look nervous. It's just, you have to understand, like, because if you do it right, they'll kill you. If you do it wrong, they'll kill you. So you got to do it your way. Yeah. You got to do it your way.
So I have another question.
Oh man, she interviewing me. I know. 2 for 2.
So this is my question, mm-hmm. because moving to DC, very, very culturally diverse, right? Where we went to college, not so much. Yeah. But one thing that I don't think I really realized until I got to DC was the different level of pride, the different level of the diaspora, like just really understanding it. And I say that because you were Nigerian. Mm-hmm. You went to school with what you would call Black Americans. Mm-hmm. Did you ever feel out of place? And I ask because when I explained to my friends up here, like, my Nigerian friends at home, they were always Black to me. Like, and that's not like a diss. No. It was like we were all the same. No, so did you feel different? Because I think different people and depending on where you grew up, it was a unique experience.
I think that part of my life was in high school. Mm-hmm. In high school, and like I'm always grateful for the high school I went to. I went to half Black, half white school, Thorn Fractional North. But like I had a camaraderie, and I think it doesn't really play well for me because I was always known as the Nigerian kid. Okay. Always known. Okay. So it was something I took back. But the thing that I had going for me was I was also the Nigerian kid who was doing well in school and had 44 colleges come to my high school to look at me play football and wrestling. So like everyone's parent, everyone's mom would be like, why aren't you hanging out with Hero more? Or why aren't you being with Hero and like so and so and so and this? So I was always looked at, like I've literally thrown house parties in high school. Police show up, I answer the door, and they're like, "Oh, Hero, you're here? We've got a noise complaint. We'll tell them that you came by and that you guys are packing up. You'll be done in like an hour." And they're like, "Yeah, go ahead, cool." Like, or we've been pulled over, got caught behind the bleachers with alcohol and stuff, and I don't drink, but everybody would be like, they'll put the bottles down, officer see, oh, Hero's here? All right, we're good. So I've always had that luxury of being that person, that dude that people want to gravitate to. Okay. When I went to college, no different. Like, I was the freshman. There was only 2 freshmen that started. Mm-hmm. It was me and Ray. And, like, our names blew up. And from there, we had all 32 NFL teams showing up. I remember when they came and grabbed me out of chemistry class, like the Eagles. They were like, yeah, can we have a word with you? And I looked at Dr. Rice, and he was like, yeah. Okay, you better go make your money.
Make your money. And
I went with that. So from that point, I never really saw myself as like you would have to know. You didn't know Hero as an African American. Me being Nigerian was always something you knew about. Mm-hmm. Like it was, if you came to my dorm room, it was a flag on the wall. If it was the outfits I wore, like I would wear my Shokotos on campus. Like before people started wearing dashikis, I had my Shokotos on in the calf. Fish Friday, what's good? Like,
Fish Friday. But do you feel like you got treated differently? Do you feel like there was a difference in Blackness? Because
I feel like I was treated differently by people older than me. Okay. I feel like parents treated me different. Okay. Like my American Black friends' parents always kind of looked at me in the sense of, man, you're doing something. Yeah, like, gotcha. And my friends took it as, I think my friends always took it as, well, he's always been genuine to me. Yeah. Like it's never been rubbed in your face. Like it wasn't like when I'm calling you and I'm on the bus, on my way to Atlanta, I'm like, hey, I didn't get this email about the classwork. Can you send it to me? It wasn't like, hey, could you do this homework for me? Like, I never made it my business to be like, oh, I'm a student athlete, but I'm gonna make this student do my work for me. Like, I was always humble about it. Like, I was always.
You brought good content.
Yeah, like
you brought good discussion.
So
you did things for us. We held each other down.
So like, I feel like ultimately I didn't give people a chance to treat me any differently because I always presented myself as who I am.
Wow, I didn't give people a chance. Come on, Iyanla.
I'm like, my life. I think it's super important for you to be able to state your ground early and often, because I think the situation you're looking at are the Nigerians who try to blend in, and blending in isn't. It doesn't work, especially when
because you don't think it's your real self in a way, and not like saying you're being fake, but. If you're Nigerian,
call it what it is.
Call it that. Yeah. That's who I am. That's my pride. That's my flag. That's my, tribe.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, I go to, there's no point in me sitting here trying to impress you. If you're not impressed by what I've done thus far, it's non-void. Like, there's something important about you being honest about yourself and internalizing your own happiness. I've always been happy with who I am. So I have no one else to please other than that. And if you're not happy with that, then, I'm not in jail. My credit score ain't in the trash. Like, I got a house, cars paid off. Like, what did I do wrong that made you think negatively of me? And I've always, taken that to heart.
You do podcasts and talk about people.
I do. I do be calling people out on this podcast. But that's okay. Because you can come here and talk about it.
Air your grievances.
Air your grievances. Air your grievances and everything you want. But for right now, I think that's a good note to leave up on for this episode. Okay. I think you did. No, let's just give a clap for Jet right here. She came on the podcast. You did it. How does it feel to complete your first podcast?
It feels great. I'm not as nervous as I thought I was going to be.
No, you did great.
I didn't cuss as many times as I
have 13 here, but you good.
And Baby Bear is here with us, so we're great.
So where can they find you?
You know what?
Yeah.
You can find me at AfricanBloodlines.com.
Is that a real thing?
That is. That's my website for the work that I do. Okay. You can find. I should really give my tip. You can find me on Instagram at Ivy Leigh, Instagram at African Bloodlines.
You say you want to start a podcast one day.
Listen, I told my friend it was gonna be called Three Blind Mice because we want. And she was like, "I ain't no rat," and I was like, "All right, cool, but we want to talk. We don't want people to know who we are because we're gonna." Give the real.
Okay, it's gonna be an anonymous podcast. I like that.
So we'll see if that happens.
I'm gonna put on.
But I'm telling people now, so we probably go.
This is only gonna be for whoever watches.
No, I'm gonna shout you out because I'm fly. I got a lot of followers.
Oh snap! Hey, we blowing up. Baby.
That's what you said. I'm gassing you now.
I appreciate it. So. I think we're gonna probably do another show. We'll see how long I can keep her here locked up in my basement. I got alcohol for her, so I'm gonna see how long I can. Stop touching your recording. But for the meantime, in between time, this has been the Identity Booth. We constantly trying to identify with you as you identify with us. Thank you so much for being here with us. Like, share, subscribe. I probably didn't say that in the beginning, but you know the routine, y'all. Y'all got the routine down pat. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Take care of yourself.
Wakanda's first hero.
Oh, that's my tag. Well done.
You had fun. I had fun with you too, friend.
Good.